Yes, I think this is the slide. Yeah. Yeah. So in previous session we discussed about the time complexity and the space complexity. So what is the time complexity, ma'am? So the time taken by the program to execute the total program, it is the time complexity. And what is the space complexity? The amount of memory required by the algorithm or program is called as the space complexity. Okay. So what is the need of time and space complexity here? To analyze the program, we are using the time and the space complexity. So why we need to analyze the program or algorithm? Suppose if you have one problem and you have a number of solution, that is n1 into up to some n number of solution for to solve that particular problem. So in that case we need to pick one among that solution based on the best case, I mean based on the best performance of an algorithm or program, we need to pick one. So how can we check that whether the algorithm is a program is best one or not? Based on the time and the space complexity. So how can you analyze that one? That is the analysis of an algorithm. Okay. So the analysis of an algorithm is the task of determining how much computing time and storage is required by an algorithm. So this analysis of an algorithm is also called as performance analysis. Okay. And this term analysis of an algorithm was coined by Donald Knuth. Okay. So this analysis of an algorithm introduced by the scientist, that is Donald Knuth. Okay. And who invented the algorithm, ma'am? Who invented the algorithm? Can anyone tell me who invented the algorithm? Hello? Who invented the algorithm? Yes?
Abdullah Muhammad.
Yeah, Al-Khwarizmi. Last word you can take it as Al-Khwarizmi. Okay. So based on the name of Al-Khwarizmi, he invented the name for the number of steps or instructions are called as an algorithm. Okay. And analysis of an algorithm was designed by, I mean, introduced by the Donald Knuth. So we have two scientists here. Algorithm is here, Al-Khwarizmi, and analysis of an algorithm is designed by the Donald Knuth. Okay. Now. Now, come to the time and the space complexity. Suppose before going to the time and space complexity, suppose if you have a processor, you may have 16-bit compiler or 32-bit compiler or 64-bit compiler. And based on the RAM speed also, you can analyze the program or algorithm here. Okay. So suppose if you are removing all those common things here, so just forget about the 16-bit compiler or 32-bit compiler or the 64-bit compiler or RAM speed. What is the average time or what is the minimum time to complete the program or execution of the program or the algorithm? Okay. So if you are taking the 16-bit compiler, it will take some extra time. If you are taking the 30-bit compiler, it will take some extra time. If you are taking the 64-bit, within a fraction of seconds, you are getting the output here. So among those, just forget about those 16-bit compiler, 32-bit compiler, 64-bit compiler. Normal system, how much time it will take to execute that particular program? Okay. And based on the space complexity also, if you are taking the RAM space or temporary space, based on that we'll analyze the program here. So if you are forget about the RAM, for the normal RAM, how the space, how much space is allocated to execute the particular program? So we need to analyze that one. So what is the time complexity? So the time complexity of an algorithm. So how can we analyze that one? Time complexity of an algorithm refers to the amount of time that this algorithm requires to execute and to get the result. And this can be for normal operations, conditional if-else statements, loop statements. We have a number of if-else statements, loop statements, which case statements. So like that we have a statements in the program. Okay. So based on that, we are going to find the time of a particular algorithm or the program. And this time complexity of an algorithm is also calculated by determining the following two components. So what are the two components to find the time complexity of an algorithm or the program? Here we have a two times, means constant time is there and variable time is there. So what is the constant time part here? Any instruction that is executed just once comes in the part of a program. For example, if you are taking the input or output or if else statements, switch statements, so these statements will be executed only one time. But come to the variable time. So what is the variable time here? Any instruction that is executed more than once. So if you are executing the statement more than once means, or number of times means, it may be in a loop or recursion, or it may be in a function, isn't it? So if you are taking the loops here, so based on the end condition, it is going to execute the loop statements, and based on the condition is going to execute the recursion function. Okay, so this is if you are using any loops or recursion, so this is a variable time. Suppose my n value is 5, so the loop statements will be executed n number of times. Okay, and the loop condition will be executed n plus 1 number of times, and the loop statements will be executed only n number of times. Suppose if you are taking the recursion also, so what is the recursion? Actually a function called by itself. Okay, so the number of times the function itself is called, and it will be executed by the number of times. So here also based on the condition, the function will be executed number of times. Suppose if I am giving the condition n value as 5, so 5 times the function will be executed. Suppose if I am giving the 10, my condition n value is 10, so how many times the loop will be executed? 10 number of times. And the loop condition will be executed n plus 1 number of times. And if you are taking the recursion also, if I am taking the condition for n value as a 10, so the function will be executed 10 number of times. So that loop and recursion function, how many times you need to execute that one, so that is depending on the condition, loop condition or the recursion condition. So that's why we are calling that part as a variable part. Okay, we are calling that as a variable path. And what is the constant time part here? Suppose if you are declaring the variable int a, so how much time it is taking? So if you are using the loops or recursion, the declaration part is same. And if you are using the if else, so if the condition is true, it is going to the if statement. If the condition is false, it is going to the else statement. That's it. Only one time the statement will be executed. If it is true, the true statement will be executed. If it is false, in the else statement will be executed. That's it. But come to the loops and recursion, based on the n condition, n value condition, so it is going to execute the number of statements, number of time, I mean number of statements, number of times. So that is the variable time part. So is this clear, ma? What is the constant time and what is the variable time?
Clear, ma'am.
Yeah. So based on these two parts, we are going to analyze that one. So what is the constant time of your algorithm and what is the variable time of your algorithm? If you are using any loops or recursion in your program, so we need to analyze that also. So how to take that one? Now you can see. So this is the formula to find the time complexity of an algorithm. The time complexity is denoted by T of P. Okay, so time of P is here algorithm or the program. Okay, so what is the formula here? T of P equal to C plus TP of I, that is T of P only. Okay, so what is C here? It is a constant time. So constant time is there, we have a variable time is there, so we need to place those ones. So constant time, that is a C plus, and variable time, that is TP of I. So where C is a constant time part and TP of I is a variable part of an algorithm which depends on instance characteristics of I. Means whether you are using the loop, if you are using the loop, what is the n value? If you are using the recursion function, so what is the condition to execute that particular recursion function? So based on that, the time complexity will be analyzed. And the formula for the time complexity is T of P equal to constant time plus variable time, that is C plus TP of I. Okay, so this is the formula of your time complexity. And next we have space complexity. What is the space complexity? The space complexity of an algorithm refers to the amount of memory that the algorithm requires to execute and get the result. To get the result or to execute the algorithm, how much space is occupied by the algorithm or the program. And this can be for inputs or temporary operations or output also. So what are the variables means when you're taking the program? So the memory will be allocated for the variables, or for some functions the temporary memory will be allocated. And if you are using any dynamic memory allocation, okay, so if you are using dynamic memory allocation, so it is going to allocate the memory in the heap and the stack. So based on that, what concept you are using in the program, based on that the space will be allocated. Okay, so based on that we are going to analyze the space complexity and to get that result or outputs here. So you can see here again, come to the space complexity, we have a two components, like a time complexity we have a constant and variable part, and come to the space complexity also we have a two components to determine the space complexity of an algorithm. So what are those here? Fixed part means it is a constant part, and variable part. Okay, so fixed part and the variable part. So what is the fixed part? This refers to the space that is definitely required by the algorithm. For example, input variables, output variables, program size, etc. If you are taking the input variable, suppose if I am taking the int a, how much memory will be allocated? Only two bytes will be allocated. Suppose if you are taking the suppose float b means 4 bytes will be
For
allocated. So this will be fixed. That is based on your declaration of your data type of your variable. The memory will be fixed. But but when you are taking the variable part, so what is the variable part? Suppose if you are using the dynamic memory allocation, so at runtime the memory will be allocated based on the value that is given to the input of your program, isn't it? So what is the dynamic memory allocation? At runtime we are going to allocate the memory. We don't know how much memory is allocated before going to run the program. So that is called as a variable part. So this refers to the space that can be different based on the implementation of an algorithm. So what is that one? For example, temporary variables. Suppose if you want to take the temporary variables to dynamic memory allocation or any programming part or recursion. So if you are taking the recursion, and this program will be executed on the stack space. Okay, so I think all are aware of that one, how the recursion function will be executed. Yes or no? Yes or no?
yes, ma'am.
Recursion function, how the recursion function will be executed. So when you're taking that, when you're calling the recursion function number of times, so when you're calling the first time, the total body of the function will be stored into the stack. Okay, again second time when you're calling the second time recursion function, again the total body is copied onto the, sorry, stack one by one. So like that n number of times the total body of the program will be stored into the stack. And how these will be executed? So it will take the topmost body of the function, so evaluate that one and remove it from the stack. And second we are going to take the n minus 2 recursion function and execute that particular body and evaluate that one. And then it is go to the n minus 3 recursion function, execute that one. So like that it is going to execute the recursion function. So if time is permit, I will explain that also. Okay, so this is the variable part. So fixed part is declaration of your variable, and more variable part is at runtime how much memory is allocated we don't know, so that is dynamic memory allocation. So that is called as a variable part. Or if you are taking any recursion function, so we don't know how much space is allocated, so that is called as a variable part. So these are the two components of a time complexity. Then uh, what is the formula of your space complexity? Like time complexity we have two components now, so based on that we are taking the formula. Come to the same say space complexity, we have two components, based on that we have a formula. So space complexity, it is represented with the S of P. So what is the time complexity? How to represent the time complexity? T of P. Okay, P is here program or algorithm, and T is the time. And here S of P, here P is the program or algorithm, and S is the space complexity. So what is the formula? Can anyone tell me now what is the formula of space complexity? Can anyone tell me what is the space complexity now? Formula of space complexity? Yes. Anyone? Space complexity. No one?
S of P equals to C plus S of P into I.
Yeah, yes, good, very good, ma. So the formula of this one is S of P equal to C plus SP of I. So what is C here? Fixed part of your memory allocated by the programmer or the algorithm. And what is SP of I here? It is like a dynamic memory allocation. Okay, so this is the variable part. The variable part means how much memory is allocated at runtime, that is called as a variable part. So we need to combine the fixed part and the variable part. And what is the formula for that one? S of P equal to C plus SP of I. So where C is a fixed part and SP of I is a variable part of algorithm which depends on the instance characteristics of I. Okay, so this is the formula to find the space, how much space is allocated by the algorithm or the program. Okay, now so, how can we analyze or how can we find these much memory is allocated, or how can we analyze this much time is time is spent by the particular program or the algorithm? How can we analyze that one? We need some measurements, isn't it? Suppose if you are taking the daily wages. Suppose if you are taking the milk. So how can we measure the milk here in a liters format? Okay, 1 liter, 2 liter, or half liter. Okay, like that we need to measure the milk. Suppose if you are taking the uh, suppose if you are taking any salt or yeah. So how to measure the salt here in kgs wise, na? Suppose it is 250 grams, or it is a 500 grams, or it is the 1000 grams means 1 kg. Like that, we need to measure. We have a measure to identify the particular how much we are borrowing or how much we are buying the item here. Same thing here. To find the time and space complexity, we need the measurements. How to measure the space and time complexity. So when you are comparing the n number of algorithms, suppose if you have a two algorithms to solve a problem, how can we compare these two algorithms based on the time complexity and the space complexity? But how can we analyze that? How can we measure those time and space complexity of the two algorithms? So using asymptotic notations. So this is the measurement for the time and the space complexity. Using asymptotic notations, we can measure the time and the space complexity. Okay, now, madam, how can we measure the time and space complexity of an algorithm? Now, let's see that one. How can we measure that one? To choose the best algorithm, we need to check efficiency of each algorithm. Efficiency of an each algorithm. That efficiency can be measured by computing time complexity of each algorithm. Computing time complexity of each algorithm. So, asymptotic notation is a shorthand way to represent the time complexity. So it is the shorthand notation to represent the time complexity as well as the space complexity also. Okay, the order of growth of running time of an algorithm. So we are concentrating on the running time, means variable time of an algorithm. Why? Because constant time is fixed for any algorithm. If you have a solution for the problem, n number of solution, for n number of solutions, constant time is same. But we need to concentrate on variable time of an algorithm. How much space or how much time is allocated to the particular algorithm at runtime, means variable time of an algorithm. We need to concentrate on that one. So the order of growth of running time of an algorithm gives a simple character a simple character of the algorithm's efficiency, and also allows us to compare relative performance of alternative algorithm. Means we need to compare with the other algorithm. How can we compare the other algorithm with the time and the space complexity. Now how to measure that one here? Now you can see analysis of an algorithm. Okay, analysis of an algorithm. So what is the analysis of an algorithm here? We have a three ways to find the analysis of an algorithm here. So what is that one? Worst case, best case, and average case. Suppose if you are taking the class also. So if the class consists of 60 people, so among 60 people we have a best students or the worst students or the average case students are there. Suppose if the student marks are above 90 or 80 to 90, so we will call those as the best students. Okay, I mean first class students. Suppose if you are taking the 70 to 80, so we can call those as the average case students. And suppose if you are calling the before, I mean below 50, and we are assuming that those are the worst case student. Means, I mean, if any student is failed, okay, it's just if any student is failed, so this student performance is very less, poor performance. So like that we are analyzing that. So how can we analyze that one? We have some limits. So based on the limits we will identify that the student performance, whether he is good or excellent or in a poor performance. Same thing, asymptotic notation analysis of an algorithm, we have a three cases here. Worst case is there, best case is there, and average case is there. Now, can anyone tell me what is the worst case or best case, average case here? Suppose if the time required to execute that particular algorithm within a fraction of seconds, suppose just take it as a 5 seconds. Within a 5 seconds, if the algorithm execute that one, suppose second algorithm it will take the 10 seconds, and third algorithm it will take the 15 seconds. So among these three algorithms, which one is the best one, ma?
5 seconds algorithm.
Yeah, 5 seconds algorithm is the best one. And what is the average case of an algorithm?
10 seconds.
10 seconds. And what is the worst case? 15
15
seconds.
seconds.
So based on the measurements, we are analyze that one whether it is the worst case or best case or the average case. Same thing here also. You can analyze the time complexity and the space complexity using these cases. Worst, whether the algorithm is the worst case or performance or best case performance or the average case performance. But how can we measure those one? Okay, we have a worst case, best case, and average case. If you are taking the student performance between 80 to 90, 80 to 100%, so it is the best case, and 70 to 80 it is the average case, and below 30 it is the worst case or the poor case. So we have a limit there. But come to this particular algorithm, what are the measurements? How to measure that particular algorithm, whether it is the worst case or best case and average case? So we have a measurements here, asymptotic notations. Using asymptotic notations we can measure that one. So what are the cases here? So in worst case we can denote the worst case with the big O. Okay, we can measure the worst case with the big O. Okay, and we can measure the best case with the omega. We can measure the best case with the omega, and we can measure the average case with the theta. You can see here. So worst case it is a big O, and the best case it is omega, and the average case it is the theta. So using these asymptotic notations, so these are the big O, omega, theta, or called as asymptotic notations. Remember this one. So it is an important one. So what are the big O and omega, theta? These are called as omega notations, or I mean sorry, asymptotic notations. And so how can we measure the worst case? Using the big O. And how can we measure the best case? Using the omega.
Omega.
And how can we measure the average case? Using the theta. So these are the measurements for the worst case, best case, and the average case. So what is the worst case, best case, and average case here? Worst case is maximum time required for algorithm or program execution. Maximum time, it will take the maximum time to execute that particular algorithm. And what is the best case here? Minimum time required for an algorithm to execute the algorithm or program, it is called as a best case. And what is the average case? It lies between the worst case and the best case. Means average time required for program execution is called as an average case. So among 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 5 seconds is the best case, and 10 seconds is the average case, and 15 seconds is the worst case. Okay, so like that, this is the worst case, best case, and the average case performance of an algorithm. So is this clear, everyone, how to what is an analysis of an algorithm, and how can we measure those analysis of an algorithm? That is a worst case, best case, average case using asymptotic notation. What is the worst case notation, and what is the best case notation, and what is the average case notation? Is this clear, everyone?
Clear, ma'am.
Yes, good. Yes, so Mr. Thank you, Bharadwaj. Yeah. So these are the notation to measure the analysis of an algorithm. Okay. Now, so I have some. I will wait a minute. Yeah, wait a minute. No, I will come back within 2 minutes.
Okay, ma'am.
Wait. Yeah. Yeah. Is my screen is visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now you can see here. So we have a notations to measure the time and the space complexity. That is asymptotic notation. That is big O, omega, and theta. Okay. So what is the theta? What is theta here? It is the average case. Okay.
Average.
Uh, yeah. So before going to the average case, let me complete the first case and best case. Then we'll go to the average case. Okay. So big O. So what is the big O? The big O notation represents the upper bound of the running time of an algorithm. Thus, it gives the worst case complexity of an algorithm. Upper bound means maximum time. Okay, so big O notation represents the maximum time or upper bound of the running time of an algorithm. Thus, it gives the worst case time complexity of an algorithm. Now, we can represent that with the graph. You can see this graph here. Okay, you can see this graph here. So you can take the time and the program. Okay, now so this is the time. So if you are taking the left I mean vertical line is the time, and this is the solution for your algorithm. N is the solution for your algorithm, or N is a number of solution for the algorithm. Okay, now this is the graph. Suppose this blue line. Okay, light blue line, it is called as it is a C into G of n. And thick blue line, it is called as an f of n. So we have two functions here, f of n function and a g of n function. And this f of n function is one one solution of an algorithm, and c into g of n is another solution for the same problem. Okay, but when you're comparing these two time complexities here, so we are taking a c into g of n. So here c is the constant time of your f of n function, and among that constant time, and we have a time for the function, that is a g of n is a time for the second solution. So if you are comparing these two functions time, now you can see here. So we have a time here. So this is the common time for this one. This is the n naught. Okay. So we can say that f of n equal to big O of g into, I mean g of n. So we can say that f of n equal to big O of g of n. So how can we say that one? So this is the upper bound function. So big of g of n, big of g of n equal to, in terms of formula we are representing that one, big of g of n equal to f of n. What is f of n? There exists a positive constant c. So what is c into g of n? What is the c here? This is the constant time. And what is the n naught here? There is a n naught such that 0 is less than or equal to f of n, and less than or equal to c into g of n. So what is the f of n? Suppose one solution. So that solution is taking the less time comparing to c into g of n. So that's why we have, what is the relationship between the f of n and g of n here? F of n less than or equal to c into g of n for all n greater than or equal to n naught. After n naught, the graph is increasing. Now you can see here. After n naught here, after n naught, the c into g of n graph is increasing like this. Okay, so f g of n is beyond the f of n. Okay, means above the f of n, means it's taking the more time to execute the particular algorithm compared to f of n. So in that case, what is the relationship between these f of n and g of n? F of n is less than or maybe it is equal to c into g of n. So that is the relationship we are writing in the form of a formula. So that is big of g of n equal to f of n. So there exists a positive constant c and n naught. So it is a c is a constant time or compile time. You can call it as a constant time or the compile time. And what is the n naught? After n naught, some limit, after n naught limit, so it is going increasing when you are comparing the f of n and g of n. So in that case, what is the relationship here? So starting from the zero now, always we are taking a graph from zero. So that 0 is less than or equal to f of n, and that f of n is less than or equal to c into g of n for all n, for all n greater than or equal to n naught. So this is the formula for the big O notation when you are comparing the f of n and the g of n here. Okay, now then you can see here. In the above expression can be described as the function f of n belongs to the set big O of g of n if there exists a positive constant c such that it lies between 0 to c and g of n. Okay, so it lies between the, I mean, we are taking the measurement from 0 to c into g of n. So between this we have a f of n function. So that is 0 is less than or equal to f of n and less than or equal to c into g of n. So this scenario is called as worst case scenario. Why? Because the c into g of n function takes much time compared to f of n. So it is above the f of n function. Okay, so it is the upper bound for the f of n function. So it is called as a worst case. And then what is the best case? We need to how to represent the best case mod using the omega. So we'll go to the omega notation. Now this is the omega notation. So now you can see the graph here. So omega notation represents the lower bound of the running time. So what is the worst case? Upper bound. And what is the omega notation? It is the best case now. So in best case, we have to take the lower bound of the running time of an algorithm. Thus, it provides the best case time complexity of an algorithm. Now you can take the graph here, same. So after constant time n naught, after n naught, the graph is like this. Okay, so after n naught constant time, the c into g of n is decreasing comparing to the f of n. Okay, you can complete these two. So f of n is now upper. Okay, now c into g of n below the f of n function means the c into g of n function takes a less time compared to the f of n function. Okay, so then what is the relationship in that case? Now you can say that f of n equal to omega of g of n. So in formula you can take it as omega of g of n is f of n. So there exists a positive constant c and n naught such that 0 is less than or equal to cg into cg of n less than or equal to f of n, isn't it? Now what is the less time taken by the algorithm c in g of n? Na? Then we are taking the f of n. So what is the relationship between these two functions? Cg of n is less than or equal to f of n function. And what is the Cg of n? It is greater than the 0. So greater than 0 but less than the f of n. So that is the formula. You can take this as a condition. So 0 is less than or equal to Cg of n less than or equal to f of n. If you are taking the worst case, what is the relationship? 0 is less than or equal to f of n, then that is less than or equal to Cg of n. Okay, so this is the best case of an algorithm. Okay, you can take this as a, the above expression can be described as f of n function belongs to the set omega of g of n if there exists a positive constant c such that it lies above the cg of n. So where is our f of n function? Above the cg of n function. So in that case, this is called as a best case of an algorithm. Why we need to call as a best case? It's taking the minimum time required by an algorithm. So minimum time means it is a best case. Then go to the third one. What is the third one? It is an average case. So it is between the best case and the worst case, and that is denoted with the theta notation. So this is the symbol theta notation, and this theta notation is encloses the function above and below. Now we need to take the both. It is between the best and the worst case. Now how to represent the graph? Now see here. So since it represents the upper and lower bound of the running time of an algorithm, it between the upper and the lower bound of the running time of an algorithm, and it is used for analyzing the average case complexity of an algorithm. Now you can see the graph. So this is the graph. Now, so now we are taking the upper bound and lower bound for the function. So what is the f of n function? Our solution. And you can compare this f of n function with the lower bound function, that is a c1 of g of n, and upper bound function c2 g of n. Now can anyone tell me what is the upper bound c2 g of n function and what is the c1 g of n function now? What is the
Both
c1 g? Yes.
best map. Both
Yes.
stand worst.
Yeah, now what is C1 G of n and what is C2 G of n? C,
Constant G of
yeah,
constant.
C1 G of n is the best case time complexity, isn't it? Lower bound, na?
Yeah.
Yes, S prime psi. So C1 G of n is a best case function. And what is C2 G of n? It is a worst case function. So previous, graph, we have seen that f of n below function is the best case and f of n above function is the worst case. Now what is our f of n function now? It is between the worst case and the best case. So in that case, C1 G of n is the omega notation, that is the best case notation, and C2 G of n is the worst case notation, that is the big O notation. And what is our function here? F of n function. Now what is the notation for f of n? It is the average case. So what is that one? Theta notation. So after some constant time n naught, the graph is like this. So after n naught, f of n function is here, c1 g of n function is here, and c2 g of n function is here. Okay, now how can we relate the each and every function here? Now can anyone tell me what is the relationship between these three functions now?
C2 G of n less than F of n less than C1 G of n.
Reverse. You are telling in a
C1
reverse. Yeah, C1 G of n is less than f of n, and that is less than of your C2 G of n. So which one is the upper bound here? C2 G of n is upper bound, na? So this is the maximum time taken by an algorithm. And what is the below of f of n? C1 g of n. So this is the best one. Okay. Now what is f of n? It is a middle one. So in that case, c1 g of n is less than or equal to f of n, and that is less than or equal to c2 g of n. Now you can see this one. You can see the formula here. So we can say that f of n equal to theta of g of n, and the function is here. You can take it as we go of, I mean, theta of g of n is f of n function. There exists positive constant c1 c2. So for the best case and the worst case, we have only one constant. But when you are taking the average case, we need to compare the two more algorithms. Okay, so how can we measure this is an average? You need to take the best case and you need to take the worst case. So then only we can identify the average case. So here we are taking the two constants c1, c2 and n naught. So what is the relationship here? 0 is less than or equal to c2, c1 g of n, less than or equal to f of n, and less than or equal to c2 g of n. So this is the relationship when you are taking the theta notation among the best case, worst case, and the average case. Now here f of n function is a average case, and what is the c1 g of n here? It is the best case, and what is c2 g of n here? It is the worst case of an algorithm. So this is the relationship when you are taking the theta notation, and this is the graph when you are taking the theta notation. So how can we measure the average case? When you are taking the average case, you need to measure the best case and the worst case. Then only we can identify the which one is the average case. So you need to take the both the function, that is a c1 g of n, that is a lower bound function, and c2 g of n, upper bound function. Is this clear, my everyone?
Clear, ma'am.
Yes. Do you have any doubts, remaining
No.
people? Yeah, thank you, Muntas. Whatever remaining, Lakshmi Prasanna. Okay, okay.
No,
Thank
ma'am.
you, thank you, thank you, Bharat. Yes, yes. Who is that? Clear? Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Now, up to here, the time and space complexity theory part is over. In next section we'll see the how to find the time of an algorithm, time complexity of an algorithm, or the space complexity of an algorithm, or else I'll go to the next topic, that is the data structure. After completion of data structure portion, we'll again come back to the how to find out the time complexity of an algorithm or the space complexity of an algorithm. So based on the time, I'll take the decision. Is it okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, wait a minute. I will download the attendance.